Hello, this is my Docker containerization demonstration for the Cloud Engineering module SCCA 7027. I am Shohanur Rahman, ID 2434329. Today I will be showing how to build a Docker image, run a container with volume attached, work with networks, and publish the image to Docker Hub. Let me first show you the project's file. I have two files here, index.html, which is my web page, and the Docker file, which contains the build instructions. Let me show you the Docker file. And the Docker file is quite simple. It uses nginx Alpine as the base image, copies my HTML file into nginx as web directory, and exposes port 80 for web traffic. And here's my HTML file, a basic web page that will be served by the nginx container. Now I will build the Docker image using the docker build command. The flag stacks the image as my web server version 1, and the dot tells Docker to use the current directory. You can see it's pulling the nginx Alpine base image from Docker Hub. And the build is complete. Let me verify the image was created. Here we can see my web server version 1 created just now, and it's about 80 megabytes in size. Next, I will run a container from this image with a volume attached for persistent storage. This command runs in the container in detached mode, maps port 8080 on my machine to port 80 inside the container, attaches a volume called my data volume for persistent storage, and gives it the name my container. Docker ps shows my running container. You can see it's been running for a few seconds. Here's my web application running inside that Docker container, accessible on localhost 8080. And let me inspect the volume I created when running the container. I create Finally, I'll publish this image to Docker Hub so it can be shared and deployed anywhere. First, I need to tag it with my Docker Hub username. And now I'll push it to Docker Hub. The push command uploads all the image layers to Docker Hub. Since we are using NGINX Alpine as the base, some layers might already exist in the registry, and there we go. The push is complete. Let me verify on Docker Hub. Here's my repository, and you can see the web server image was pushed just now. Anyone with internet access can now pull and run this container. To summarize what I have demonstrated, I created a Docker file to define the container image, build that image using Docker build, run a container from the image with a volume attached for persistent storage, and verified it works in a web browser, inspected the volume to show it's connected to my container, created a Docker network for container communication, and finally published the image to Docker Hub for distribution. These are the fundamental concepts of containerization that enable applications to run consistently across different cloud environments. Thank you for watching.